so far we've just been running this from file, right? If you look at my path up here, let's get rid of all that stuff. I was running it that way. So in any case, let's see, so command open. I was just running this from file, right? When you're using the file protocol, I'm going to talk from a Unix-based perspective. I don't know how it works in Windows, but I imagine there are similar problems. There's just a lot of limitations, right? So you don't want to be doing this very long for any sort of decent dev process. It's useful for writing like CSS and stuff like that, but much more than that, it falls apart pretty quickly. In other words, we need a static file server, right? Now we could bring in something like HTTP server. We could bring in like simple HTTP server from Python, or PHP-S. There's a bunch of ways to do it. However, there's a particular tool called Webpack devserver that makes this a lot easier, and it's going to buy us a lot more too. So we're going to go ahead and introduce that real quick. So I want you to go to your Webpack config, and there's really only one thing that we're going to need to do. We're going to add one more object. You can put it really anywhere. Just call it devserver. And we're going to put in here a public path. So this is letting Webpack know where you anticipate your bundle being served from, so that whenever you go to serve files from that, it knows where to go grab those files and where they're being output to. Now, for us, we have a public directory and we're serving from public, right? That's just coincidence that they're the same thing, right? I could be serving from the public directory, but it could be called like static assets on my server, right? So this is the name of the path on the server, if that makes any sense. Okay. So now what I can do here is I can come to my command line, and I'm going to, if you're running watch, stop your watch, and then do /node modules .bin /webpack devserver. So now it's going to run a server for me at localhost 8080. It's going to serve all your output from /public, but it's also going to be doing the watch for you as well. So every time you save something, it's going to be constantly recompiling your code. So it's like watch and your static file server just rolled up into one thing. So now if I go to localhost 8080, now things are actually serving the way they should, right? That's where the image came from. So what I want you to do real quick, it's important that we're going to take a second and kind of emphasize it, because people always miss this when I do this workshop. Go to your index.html. I'm going to wait, make sure everyone's there. And then in front of public in both places, both in the script and the link, please put a leading slash. It works now because we're on the home page, but as we start having different paths, that relative path is going to be incorrect. So we always want it to serve from /public. Did everyone put 2 slashes? Okay, cool. I believe you. And if you ask me the question, I'm going to throw something at you. I swear. Just kidding. I mean, maybe, but don't test me. Cool. So this is awesome, right? The dev server. It's one of the really nice parts about Webpack is that it ships with this dev server, and we're only scratching the surface. In fact, I wanted to show you something else too. Let's go back and reintroduce some sort of linting error. So const x equals 5, right? Lint error. Open your console here, and you're going to see right away some sort of error. But now if I get rid of it, save it, it's gone. So again, another part of Webpack devserver is every time the bundle refreshes, it's just going to hard refresh your browser for you, which is also pretty nice, right? Because you can just save it and then go over to your browser and it's going to be reloaded. Now, inevitably someone wants to ask me about hot module reload. We're going to do it in a little bit. Not yet. Hold your horses. We're not there yet. OK, so go ahead.
Yeah, someone asked about setting up all this tooling by yourselves versus using something like Create React App.
So yes, Create React App is a really, really cool piece of technology. So again, a lot of people's common complaint is that the tooling is so complicated and difficult to set up and difficult to understand. Like, I'm giving a 3-day workshop just so you can understand the tooling, right? That's about half the workshop. So something like Create React App totally obscures all of this from you, right? And it just works, right? It just works straight out of the box. The trade-off there is that you have no control over your tools, right? So Create React App is really a great way to scaffold up a project, get rolling with it, and then what Create React App does for you is it allows you to eject all of, like, the term is eject. It removes itself from the project and it gives you all of the configs, right? So you're not locked into using Create React App all the time. So it ejects the Webpack config, the Babel config, the ESLint config. So it's kind of an all or nothing thing, right? You either use Create React App or you don't. So the trade-off is here is if you're willing to give up that control, it's amazing and totally worth it because the project they set up for you is really, really great. You can build large-scale applications on Create React App, no problem. They give you a great dev config, they give you a great production config. However, if you even need to change one thing, you have to eject it, right? So we're not using it today because I want you to touch the tools, right? Like I want you to feel the tools. I want you to feel why you have them. I want you to understand what each one of them does and how to set them up. So when you go to your individual companies and projects and clients, that you know yourself how to manipulate the tools and get the best performance and address all the needs for what you're doing. So if you're interested in Create React App, I have another repo on my GitHub that's a similar type project that we're doing right now, but it uses Create React App. And it's much more focused on React and Redux rather than on the tooling, right? A lot of this workshop focuses on the tooling. So you're welcome to go in and compare and contrast. That will be open source forever, so you're welcome to check it out.
Yeah, I appreciate this because in the past, this is just it's been like npm stat and it works, and I don't really know what's going on.
Right. It's total black magic. It's a total black box, right?
Yeah.
What is the repo for the example that you've got on GitHub?
It's nho.lt/redux. I think that I have some updating to do for it, but it should be 99% good. You build a pet adoption app, which is pretty fun.